So after a couple of weeks without any episodes of Quantum Leap, it is back finally with an episode called A Kind of Magic, in which Ben gets accused of witchcraft. So was this episode a duffer, or did it work its spell on me? Let us find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my review series for Season 2 of Quantum Leap. And this is Episode 7, A Kind of Magic. Now in this episode, Ben leaps the furthest back he ever has to 1692 into a town called Middletown, which sits between Boston and Salem. I had to think of that one then. How can I forget Salem? But anyway, so Ben leaps into the body of this young woman, who's essentially the housekeeper, the maid for this other woman whose husband has died. They're in a town that is being plagued by illness, plagued by drought and all this sort of stuff, and everyone is blaming everyone else. And incidents occur and these individuals get called out as witches. And Ben is there to stop this one particular girl from being burnt at the stake. However, when a young lad named William falls ill and collapses and essentially dies in front of everyone in the church, and he is the magistrate's son, Ben leaps into action and he revives him using CPR. Only CPR is something that doesn't exist yet in this time, and they see it as though this individual, this girl who Ben has leapt into, has brought someone dead back to life. Hence, a witch. So they get accused of witchcraft, and there's another girl that comes into the fray called Morgan, who's an Irish girl who's sort of different than the rest of the individuals in the town. She looks at things a bit differently. She owns a shop, and she's helped people out by, you know, using chamomile tea and all things like this. People believe she is a witch also, and all three of them end up getting accused of witchcraft and are going to be burnt at the stake. And so the episode continues and goes on like that until obviously Ben stops this stuff from happening. Now we have stuff in the future occurring where a silly storyline with Ian, where Ian in the past, his great-great-grandmother or something was accused of witchcraft, so he holds a seance in the Quantum Leap headquarters. Complete nonsensical sort of stuff there. The team are rushing around to try and help. Obviously they've got no real historical records of this time period and all this sort of stuff. Magic is back, yes, to lend a bit of gravitas to the action, so to speak. And we get a sort of conclusion of the Ben and Addison stuff, where we will now see her be returning as the hologram. It didn't take very long for that to come about. So this episode here, unfortunately, you know, this episode didn't really hit for me at all. I found it to be somewhat boring, to be honest. The storyline didn't really grip me, didn't grab me in any way, shape or form. You know, it had some good cast members casting it, some good acting, this sort of a thing. But ultimately, it was a bit of a letdown. It's a kind of nothing episode with some stupid stuff going on back at the headquarters, like I said, with the Ian and the stuff involving his grandmother. Okay, it's a small element of the episode, but it's kind of like, we're just going to fill it with nonsense. That kind of a thing. I would like this show to explain more so why or how Ian is leaping outside of his own lifetime. Now I know that narratively speaking, I know the reason as to why he leaps out of his own lifetime, because let's say he's in his late 20s. There's not much difference between the world 20 years ago, 30 years ago to what it is now. The differences are minimal. So you're not going to see much in the way of change. So we have to open it up and we have to have him leap further afield so that we can have that change, have that costume change, have open the stories up to something a bit more. But yeah, ultimately, for me, a bit of a dud of an episode, to be honest. What more can I say? Your thoughts on it down below in the comments, please. And obviously we do get a shot at the end of Ben leaping into an individual in Egypt. He's in front of the Great Pyramids in a little like tour bike type of a thing, so it seems. Yeah, where that's going, I don't know, but it looked good, as in it looked like it may have been filmed on location. If not, they're using a very, very good sort of green screen backdrop element to it. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. Quick rundown on this episode. Bit of a duffer, not particularly good. Yeah, it was boring me. I found myself looking at my phone, doing other things. Anyway, that's me done. Let me know your comments down below, and I'll be back next week to give you my thoughts on the next episode. Take care.